Hey, friends! Now, this time, I have a bit of a time capsule for you. A fairly small-scale movie made with a lot of heart, and a surprising number of familiar faces. Namely, Fast Break from 1979, starring comedian Gabe Kaplan. Our story goes like this. David Green lives in New York. He works at a delicatessen by day, but what he really wants to do is coach basketball. He finally gets an offer from a tiny college in Nevada looking to make it big, and the dean figures basketball will put them on the map. He makes a deal with Green. He's paid $50 for every win, and if he can beat the Big Ten team of Nevada State, he'll get a 3-year contract at $30,000 a year. This was back when $30,000 was real money. Green takes the job, but his wife isn't impressed and refuses to join him in Nevada. So Green recruits some talented New York ball players known as Preacher, DC, Hustler, and Swish, who's really a girl. All of them have personal problems that need sorting out. They soon hit the road for Nevada and arrive at Cadwallader College, but the newcomers have their work cut out for them if they're going to take on the unstoppable state team. Will Green make his dream of being a coach come true? Will his team overcome their individual problems and beat state? Will Green win back his wife? In our cast, we have Mr. Carter himself, comedian Gabe Kaplan, in his first feature film. Kaplan, of course, is most famous for the lead role in Welcome Back, Kotter, the sitcom about a teacher looking after a group of inner-city kids called the Sweat Hogs. This is the series that introduced the world to John Travolta. The Kotter series was based on Kaplan's own memories of growing up on the streets of New York. Here, Kaplan again taps into his origins in New York to play the delicatessen worker and wannabe basketball coach. We also have Michael Warren as Preacher, just 2 years away from his most famous role, that of Officer Bobby Hill on Hill Street Blues. Harold Sylvester plays DC. He was in An Officer and a Gentleman, Inner Space, and Vision Quest, but you may know him best as Griff on Married with Children. Randy Heller plays Kaplan's wife Jan. She played Lucille in the Karate Kid movies. Richard Brestoff is Howard. He appeared in the sitcom version of Operation Petticoat. Yeah, they made a sitcom based on the movie. He was also in Car Wash, Tour of Duty, and The Man with Two Brains. Brett Remsen plays the coach for the opposing team. You see him using this cane, right? Well, that's because way back in the day, he was appearing in a TV series based on the film No Time for Sergeants, when an 80-odd-foot crane toppled over and fell on him, breaking his back. He partially recuperated, but gave up acting to work behind the camera as a casting director. Robert Altman started to cast him in several of his films, so he took up acting again part-time. That's why he has the cane here. So, who else do we have? Well, both Bernard King and Mavis Washington were real basketball players. King was in the NBA, and Washington was a women's basketball coach. This was her only acting role, and for a newcomer, she does all right. And then there's people like this here English teacher at the college, Ms. Tidwell. Recognize her? No? How about now? That's right. This is Kay Callan, who played Ma Kent on Lois and Clark, among many other things. Recognize this guy? No? How about now? Also, among many other things, Reb Brown played Captain America in 2 made-for-TV movies in 1979. He was also Yor in Yor, the Hunter from the Future. And Lawrence Fishburne appears briefly in this, credited as a street kid. And one last one, this guy. This is Jack Smight, who cameos as Dibber, a party guest. This was one of only 2 roles he ever played in front of the camera. He was the director of Fast Break. He also directed Airport 75, Damnation Alley, Midway, and The Illustrated Man. One thing I really love here is that you actually see Kaplan coaching. I mean, he acts like a real coach. The mannerisms, the pep talks, the quiet private chats with each player, the frustration at a bad play, all of it. Kaplan is totally believable as a coach, both on and off the court, aside from the comedic hijinks. Other things to like? Well, we're treated to a street-level view of New York back in the day, which is always interesting. And pretty much everything we see was shot on location. There don't appear to be any soundstage sets here, lending more reality to the picture. As comedies with a disparate cast of characters at a college go, Fast Break is not Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds, or Police Academy. This is a comedy, but it's very laid back. So laid back you'd be hard-pressed to see it as a comedy. There are funny moments, but this is no knee-slapper, and that's okay. This kind of laid-back, amiable, subtle comedy is an art form in and of itself, but it's all but unknown today. The story is fine, although it is admittedly predictable, but the cast is really what makes Fast Break work. They bring a lot of heart to this. You really buy them in their respective roles, and director Jack Smight takes the material seriously and turns in a very watchable film. Now, the Twitter kids, they won't like this one, on account of it was made back in the day when people used words. Ache. However, for the rest of us, Fast Break is kind of a treat and an unexpected one. True, it's more light drama than comedy, but it has several familiar faces and was made at a time when people could still laugh at themselves. And these kind of small and mid-budget films were always interesting. Kaplan and his team of players are very good here, and it was directed by a guy who knew what he was about when it came to directing a picture, even a smallish one like this. Okay, sure, it's not Citizen Kane, and we pretty much know how the story will play out in the end. But the movie has heart, and you really root for Kaplan and the team to win. So, despite its flaws, I'm giving Fast Break 2.5 paws up. Well worth a watch. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.